Hey y'all, Moses here. In today's video, I have a slightly longer intro than I normally would, but I want to talk about something really fast. A couple of days ago, I put out a video saying that I was mentally tired with Pubg. I didn't like the design decisions, I didn't like the direction the game was headed, and I was going to take a step back until things changed. I said I hope that they can get it together. Unfortunately, I had to take that video down because the Reddit brigade got a hold of it and used it as like anti-Pubg propaganda, so I just didn't want us to be associated with that. I took it down. It wasn't some sort of cover up. There was no pressure. I just didn't want myself associated with negative Pubg crap. So things have changed. Patch number 27 has hit the test servers and things are looking very, very good. There is so much to talk about. We're going to talk about all of that in today's video. And I just wanted to say, I'm happy that this has happened. I didn't want to take a step away from Pubg. I don't like the feeling of being tired of something that I love so much. Speaking of things that I love so much, how about these headphones from Massdrop? Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, this is an ad. It came out of nowhere, and it is for the HE4XX from Massdrop. These are great open design headphones. I'm not going to hit you with all the info just yet. I'm going to sprinkle it in through today's video. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the game plan for this is because there's so much stuff, we're going to be breaking it into sections. There's going to be timestamps down below. As we go through, I'll break it up and you guys can click around if there's something you just don't want to watch. The idea here is I'll be splicing in game footage as I was able to get it. I didn't spend a ton of time. I just wanted to check some stuff out. But regardless, let's jump right in. So the first thing I want to talk about is the new weapon. And the new weapon is the MP5K. It is chambered in 9mm ammunition and it is exclusive to Vikendi. I really dislike this trend of map-specific guns, but regardless. While the fire mechanics of the MP5K are similar to those of the Vector, it boasts a higher per bullet damage, but with a lower overall firing rate and DPS. This SMG also has a higher magazine capacity than the Vector, starting at 30 rounds by default and goes to 40 rounds with an extended magazine. So it has a 900 RPM, easy control. You can see it for yourself. I tested on the test server. It seems pretty good. I'm just not a huge fan of the map exclusive portion, but it's just replacing the Vector, which is fine by me. All right, so moving on to the Survivor Pass, now named Wildcard. For some reason, it has some stuff in there. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Battle Pass. Either you're in the camp that it's worth it or it's not worth it. If it's not worth it, don't buy it. If it is worth it, buy it. It's got some good stuff in there. Not a lot of amazing skins, but this is, I think, a move from Pubg to move towards a more quick timer on their battle passes, being able to get stuff out quicker. So there's not a ton of art in this one. There's some new emotes, there's some new skins, there's some free stuff, there's some premium stuff. But the biggest change that maybe will sway you to wanting to buy it is the fact that there is weapon specific challenges by way of the barrel, the Tommy gun, the UMP, the M16, a couple of shotguns. But the missions themselves are actually a lot better. At least the normal missions, where what you have to do to get the XP, to get the rewards, is a lot more accessible, less ridiculous stuff. The worst one I saw in there was swimming for 500 meters. I'm going to let you guys read the Battle Pass rewards for yourself, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, so let's move on. The same thing with the survival title system. This is the Season 3 of the Play As Much As You Can system, which is, Wacky Jackie tried to do it last time and bailed out because it was just too much. It was just too much to play, and it's similarly in this case. I think it's going to be the same system, but they've made it where you gain survivor points faster, which makes it easier to rank up. I just don't think I'm not interested in a system that isn't skill based. I'm going to be playing anyway, so if I get rewards, great. If I don't care. I'm not going to play 2,000 games to get a parachute skin. As cool as it would be to have that exclusive skin, it's really not for me. I hope that they change the system soon. Gameplay. This is the big stuff here. Okay, so the M16A4, when using the burst mode, the initial recoil has been decreased. They've increased the range before damage fall off occurs, which means the M16 will be better at longer ranges. The canted sights and the tactical stock can now be attached to the M16 as well, and the tactical stock will decrease recoil recovery time, animation kick, and weapon sway, while improving ADS speed and hipfire accuracy. This is a net buff across the board to the M16, something we've been asking for a while. Now, I played with the M16 both in the test range as well as regular gameplay. I cannot see it overtaking the M4 or the SCAR or even maybe the G36, but it will definitely find a place in the game as a DMR replacement on a map like Vikendi, where DMRs are hard to come by, or if you just prefer to do a dual AR setup using the M16. The M16 is better now. The recoil on the burst mode is much easier to control, and I can see how high skill users or M16 diehards will find a way to use this gun. It's much better, no longer a joke to use. The Vector has been rechambered to 9mm ammo, and the mag capacity has been increased to 19 bullets by default and 33 with an extended mag, up from 13 and 25. The damage has been decreased from 34 to 31 due to the rechambering of that weaker ammunition. The UMP-45, now formerly the UMP-9, has been rechambered to 45 caliber ammo. You guessed it. The mag capacity has been adjusted to 25 bullets by default and 35 with an extended mag. Gunshot sounds have been changed to be more realistic. Doesn't say anything about changing the damage, which I believe is 35 or 33. I can't recall. But this is more of a balancing for both SMGs. They've rechambered the Vector because they couldn't just increase the base capacity of the Vector and not change it. And they've changed the UMP-45 to shoot 45 caliber ammo, and it shoots slower. So this is just it's a rebalance. There's nothing too crazy being done here. But I think that this is just a general buff to the both SMGs, but very slightly. And the buff comes in the mag capacity of the UMP-45 and the mag capacity of the Vector. They could not do both, so they had to kind of do something. This is actually a smart change. I got to say, this is a smart way to do something that to buff the SMGs without making something too crazy like the Vector, like the way it was when it came out. Anyway, moving on to the Mutant. The tactical stock can now be attached to the Mutant. This is a good change. It's not awesome. If I had the choice between the two, I would still use the M16, but the Mutant has received a small buff by way of having an extra attachment. Smart change. Again, a moderate buff to a gun that probably needed it. Now, this is the big one, all right? And before I talk about it, you know what's awesome? These headphones from Mastrop, the HE4XX, super comfortable. They've got these memory foam ear cups in there, man. Really nice to use. And I got to say, the build quality, excellent. The SMG and pistol attachments have been combined and can now be used on both weapon types, okay? You know what? This is a great change. This is similar to what they did with the DMR and SR attachments. It reduces ground clutter and garbage stuff that you can't use. It's just more efficient looting, which is a great change. Bullet loops for shotguns, Winchesters, and Kar98s have all been combined into one item called the ammo loops. This was already the case with the Winchester and the Kar98, but now shotguns are included there as well. You can also attach the hollow sight to pistols, which will now be smaller because they're just little bitty baby sights. Here's another big change, and that is the increased SR body shot damage from 110% of base damage to 150%. What does that mean? The median damage of the Kar98 and the M24, even though they're not the same damage per shot, is about 70. So you're going to be taking on average 70 damage from body shots from Kar98s and M24s. The OM will one-shot you with a level 2 vest. That's 70 damage, by the way, with a level 2 vest as well. So that's huge. It'll one-shot targets with no vest. It'll very nearly kill level 1 vests, and it will do 70%. You get what I'm saying. The OM is going to one-shot people, ladies and gentlemen. That's insane, especially with the fact that there's going to be more OMs on the field than what we've seen in the past with the flare gun system and the Vikendi loot cave, that kind of stuff. With more OMs on the field, that's where I think PUBG needs to really monitor this change, is making sure that there's like 1 out of 5 crates has an OM in it. Because if there's 5 OMs in a top 20 situation, watch the F out is all I can say if you're not wearing a level 3 vest. SMG limb shot damage has been increased by 5%. I don't know why PUBG loves SMG so much. Maybe because the ARs are still kind of haunting them from forever. But SMGs are still getting buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed. But moving on, another big one here, well, at least just from a quality of life standpoint, which is decreasing the overall aim punch applied when being shot by an enemy. That means that your aim sway will be much less. Well, it'll be less when getting shot by an enemy, which is a good thing because no one likes aim punch. I gotta say, aim punch is what I say. So I don't like that stuff, and I'm happy to see this. Another big change here: first aid kits will no longer heal instantly, but will instead restore health over a 2-second period, which means aggressive players will be receiving the benefit there. If you do damage to someone, they won't any longer have that instant heal. There will still be some time there to rush an enemy. Even though it's only 2 seconds, that 2 seconds can be a big deal. And if you play PUBG a lot, you'll know that. Vehicles can now block players from receiving grenade damage with a similar mechanism used for other objects. Although, depending on grenade position and trajectory, damage can still be dealt to players hiding behind vehicles. I kind of like the skill shot grenade where you blow people out of vehicles with grenades, but this is a fine change, I suppose. Kind of questionable, but I'm not worried about it too much. Just as long as this thing actually works, where you can nade people behind vehicles. That's a big thing in competitive. All right, and now the Erangel Loot changes. This is the item spawn balance modification. The overall item spawn rates on Erangel have been increased. Additionally, we've increased the spawn rate of some of the major weapon classes. Please jump in. Okay, whatever. Increase the spawn rate of AR, DMR, LMG, and SMGs on Erangel. This will improve the item pickup rate of sought-after weapons. The total combined increase of around 41%. Don't get hung up on this 41% number. I don't believe it. Not to say that all weapons haven't been increased to a total of 41%, but this does not mean a 41% increase of loot on Erangel. That's not what it means. I played around today on Erangel, and I did not notice a very obvious increase in loot. I'm not 100% sure on this one, but they're moving in the right direction. Due to the changes in this patch, including merging some attachments together, there is naturally a gap left in spawns which will need to be filled with other items. Because of this, we have increased the spawn rate of other items evenly. This will also result in a small increase of spawns of high priority items such as ARs, meds, and etc. I did feel loot was slightly better on Erangel. Is it at the Sandhawk Vikendi level? No, it is not. It is definitely not near Sandhawk. It is probably closer to the Vikendi loot level, but overall, it's a small step in the right direction. They're really trying to preserve game balance here. Erangel, they still have this whole survivor mentality in their mind where people are playing this game like they play DayZ, where they want to crawl around naked. I don't know. We're in the West, okay? The North American play style is different than the rest of the world, and maybe not so much different than Europe, but definitely different than Asia, which is their primary player base, by the way. So it's a step in the right direction, but they're being tentative. I understand it, but I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth here, okay? This is a good change. Flare gun balance. They've changed some stuff there. It actually so much stuff that I never actually, I'm going to confess, I never played with the flare guns on live. I was at the point where I was casting PUBG. I didn't play with it, but let's go through the changes regardless. Many players felt the icons and on-screen message related to flare guns did not match the style of PUBG as a realistic battle royale experience. We agree and have removed them. There you go. So no more icon on the mini-map, and there's no more icon on the world map, and there's no on-screen message indicating that a special care package is coming. As a result of adding flare guns, there were many more planes flying by regularly, which led to much frustration for players due to both the volume and frequency. So we've made the following changes. Altitude of the plane delivering the flare gun has been increased. Subsequently, the audible volume of the planes will now be lower. Cool. Adjusted the loot balance. Reduced flare gun spawn rate to an average of 3 flare guns per game for all maps. Yes. We want the flare gun to be a rare item with great benefits, but at a higher risk. That's an average, by the way, not a set amount. It's an average of 3 flare guns per game. Reduce the care package contents from 2 sets to 1 set in squad mode, which is the same as solo and duo mode. So it's just basically calling it a custom care package for yourself as you want. And they reduced the total flare gun care packages available to be called in per game. Now only 2 sets of special care packages and 2 armored UAS can be called in per game total, down from 3. So that's a total of 4 maximum things you can call in, I think, is what I'm understanding there. Movement rustling sound. This is under flare gun balance for some reason, but whatever. Separate rustle sounds will now play when equipping weapons in your hands versus holstering on your back. Identical rustling sounds will be played regardless of weapon type, with the exception of pistols, melee, and whatever. Okay, I played. Let me tell you, there's more in here, but you sound different when you run around now. It's very clearly different. It is not a big deal, I don't think. You rustle differently depending on how you're moving. If you're crawling, changes. Like some of the stuff is so complex, I don't think it's noticeable. But it noticeable in the minute sense. It is noticeable that you're making a different sound. But this is just more, again, PUBG's audio fidelity is increasing overall, which is fine. Is it going to be a huge difference? Probably not, but they changed it. So great. UI and UX overhaul. This is a big change to the settings menu. It's actually so big that I don't really know how to use it anymore. I honestly have no idea. I'm gonna have to go back and relearn the menu system that has been the same for forever. It looks really different now. They've improved it overall. It's just one of those like big sweeping changes that you'll just have to get used to. They've just overhauled the whole settings menu. It is improved. There's more explanations. There's preview images. There's different stuff. Individual teammate volume adjust to the teammate management screen. That's a big one if you have loud friends like me screaming all the time in your local voice chat. And they've also added a key guide screen to the menu showing the main keys used in the game. The store has been improved because why wouldn't it be? Hid the view detail, all this other stuff. Rich presence integration, little changes here and there. Nothing too major. This is just an omni change. This one right here, though, I played with this. The canted sight will, the crosshair will tilt depending on whether or not you're in your canted sight or not. This is one of those little changes that I love. The crosshair rotates when you switch to your canted sight, which is just a polished thing. Looks good. I'm happy with it. Performance. They've optimized the network debug statistics UI to slightly improve FPS. Neat. Optimize replay recording logic to slightly improve FPS during gameplay. Also neat. Skins and items. A 2-year anniversary cap is now available for free. Hooray, everybody. Their item sales will be ending soon. The ridiculously expensive Bison skin, the Chinese streamer skins. There's some cool M4 skins in there. Go check that out. And the Erangel police crates move to the pool of random crates. No comment. Bug fixes. I'm going to scroll through this one really quick just to see what's in here. But let's take a look. Fixed an incorrect issue, or fixed an issue where incorrect footstep sounds were made when moving on steel floors. Fixed an issue where players could become stuck in a wall when vaulting on top of an object in a specific building on Sandhawk. Fixed an issue where players were able to see past walls by abusing the emote mechanism. Fixed an issue where players were able to open and close doors despite a vehicle blocking it. Fixed an issue where players were briefly able to see through a thin wall when leaning against it. Scanning for changes. Poor network connectivity would take no damage when exiting moving vehicles. Cause your gun to reset. Oh, fix an issue that would cause your gun to reset to single fire mode despite having it set as full auto. That's a good change. Fix an issue where you did not have the HE4XX from Massdrop. Did I mention how great these things are? I love them. Okay, you can check them out using the link in the description. Lots of great stuff from this company. I love Massdrop's headphones. I really, really do. I love the design, the comfort of these headphones, the build quality. Got a nice cable here, detachable cable, planar magnetic headphones. Really can't say enough about this. I think you will need a headphone amplifier, by the way, but I really do love these headphones. So thank you for Massdrop for sending these. Check them out, please. I love Massdrop, and so should you. Fix an issue which caused heavy FPS drops momentarily while using hotkeys to mute or change audio channels. Just some bug changes in here. Fix an issue where gun recoil would appear abnormal when observing a player shooting an ADS. This one is actually very obvious. When you're spectating your down friends, the recoil looks like you're actually watching yourself shoot. Looks really good. I hope that translates to the esports observer as well. So many big changes in here, man. And there's probably some stuff in here that we don't even know about because PUBG likes to sneak stuff in there from time to time. But I have to say, wow, what a huge amount of changes. I really do think that this is the biggest PUBG patch to ever come out. It's bigger than 1.0. I know it is. But wow, so much stuff in here. It's rejuvenating. If I'm speaking from the heart, this is one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, yes, please. Finally. Now, it's not going to make the game perfect. Is there still stuff outstanding? Yes. I think that there's still a lot of stuff that they need to change. They've also added some matchmaking improvements. There's still more work to be done there, I think, for matchmaking. But this is one of those things where I'm like, okay, whatever's broken, great. But look what else they've done. And if you're an anti-PUBG person, which I'm not, regardless of what some of you people might say, I don't know how you can talk your way around this patch. I'm sure you could find a way if you're a Reddit warrior, but wow, I gotta say, the only thing better than this patch that I've had that I can think of right now are these awesome ass headphones. All right, that's the last one. Thank you guys for watching. I gotta say, I'm gonna be playing more PUBG when this patch drops. I'm not gonna be playing too much on the test server. I'm still looking forward to Firestorm and that kind of stuff. But I don't want to play PUBG until this is live. So you'll find me on the test server until the 27th when this thing goes live. So that's when it does hit the ground, is on March 27th. I'm really interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this patch. Leave a comment down below. Like the video if you liked it. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/wtfmoses. You can also tweet at me at twitter.com/wtfmoses. But wow, what a patch. I cannot say more than that. I probably shouldn't say more than that. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, guys. I'll see you out there very, very soon.